Welcome everyone to Thursday Live. Kind of a interesting one because this is our last Thursday Live for a little while. So if you were here on Monday, you caught up on all the news and fun stuff that was going on around here. So what I've basically, the Reader's Digest version is, what I'm going to be doing is just opening up a little bit more time to get some of the big painting done. And in looking at everything, the Thursday Live, make sure that mic is on and I'm not talking to no one. The Thursday Live, by kind of changing it up and eliminating it for the time being, opens up a good 2 hours right in the middle of the week, which is what I need. Everything else is going to stay the same. We'll have Open Studio on Wednesday, which I will be there with you when that premieres. We'll still do the time lapse Tuesday, and then I will get the live stream back over to YouTube at some point. The way Facebook has been acting, it is more likely than not that Monday Night Live will move to YouTube, which will be pretty fun because then we'll get the live stream back on YouTube right away. But even if the live stream stays on Monday night on Facebook, I'm definitely going to reintroduce some sort of live stream component. So that's what I got. And that is what's going on. So we're going to work on this filigree painting that we started on Monday. I thought it'd be fun because I've done a lot on it since Monday, and that way we can kind of pick up where we left off. And then I'm going to finish this next Monday on YouTube. So there we go. Brad Mummery, what's up? Dan, what's going on? So welcome everyone. So yes, so this is our kind of our last Thursday Live for just a bit, but yeah, we'll have some fun. So let me switch to this one so I can show you the whole thing. And this is, I posted this today, but this is kind of where I'm at with it. And it's all freehand. There's no paintbrush or anything. It's been just fun to just kind of let loose on this. If you wanted to kind of get a feel on how I laid this out, you can rewatch Monday night's Facebook feed, and you can see how I did lay it out. What I left for us today is this area here, which is basically what I did on Monday. It's just got the kind of white sketch in. So we'll tighten this area up and show you how I get to this point. And that's what I got. So we're going to jump right in and get going. What I do want to show you first, though, which I didn't show anyone on Monday, was we talked about, I'll focus this in a second, was talking about how the background of this is Autoborn Sealer Gray and how easy it is to make corrections and repairs. So I thought I'd show you a little bit of that right out of the gate. So let me get this focused for you guys. There we go. If you have any questions, let me know. Kelly Drake, what's up? That's okay, Kelly, no problem. Mr. McKay, what's up, buddy? So again, this background is Autoborn Sealer Gray. So if this is just a gray that I mixed up, and I had to match it, that would be a difficult task. One of the things that happened with this is as I was playing with the darkest gray, which is this shadow color, I kind of went a little bit overboard, especially on the top side of this, and it makes this whole area look outlined. So I want to correct that, and I'll show you how easy that is. So what I did is I pre-mixed up, and this is just Autoborn Sealer, but what I did was before you guys got on, I added a bunch of reducer to this. So this is pretty, I'd say it's probably, I don't know, 30 or 40% reducer. So there's a lot of reducer in there. And it's not, this is okay for this because I'm not using it like when I based this originally with this little spray gun. I only had the Autoborn Sealer reduced about 15 to 20%, which is the recommended amount, 10 to 20%. But for this, I'm going to actually use it to erase that dark edge right there, or, pull it back a little bit. What am I going to use to do this? Let's use, let's use the micro, why not? So again, it's exactly the same color as the background, which is great. Yeah, it's going to work out good. So what I can do is I can really lightly just kind of use this on the background, and I can push that shading back to where it should have been, which is, I didn't want to outline the thing, you know what I mean? And the nice thing is because it is exactly the same color, because it's Autoborn Sealer, I know it's going to match the background perfectly. There's no messing around with it. You know, I can pull right into the background here and not have an issue. So now you will notice though, as I get into the darker color, the shading, as I get close to that, there is a little bit of blue shifting there because I'm guessing that Createx, in making this gray, they mix up the sealer with sealer white and a sealer black. So the sealer white is what's going to cause this to shift to blue, but I'll show you how we're going to fix that in a second. First, let me eliminate that. Not eliminate it, but push back that shadow on the top of it a little bit. And then I'll show you how I get around the bluish. Hutterborn sealer through a micron is not a good idea. This probably would have been a better idea to use a little bit bigger brush, like the Eclipse CS, or anything 0.3-ish or 0.35-ish would have been a better choice for this, because I don't need super tight detail with it. I just need to have some atomization, quality atomization and control. Brandon, what's up, buddy? Welcome. You also notice I'm not doing underneath that little gap right there because there's a shadow from this leaf right here, so I don't have to eliminate that. I'm just doing everything else on the top side of this. That's really all the place it happened. You notice this one here has that kind of lighter gray and then the heavier gray underneath. That's really what I want. Same thing up here. It's lighter gray on top and heavier gray on the bottom. For some reason, I just hit that too hard. All right, so let's get rid of this. I'll keep this on the side in case I need it again. Get rid of this, and then I'm going to switch to the Micron B. I'll show you how I can get rid of that blue shift. Let's turn it this way. That'll be fine. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, just yell it out. So again, you notice this area here compared to like this area up here. See how that has that kind of that bluish tinge to it? And that is the blue shift, the dreaded blue shift. So I have a bottle of, as soon as I can find it, here it is. I have a bottle of red oxide that I've over reduced and then added 40/50 to it. And it's just red oxide. It's not anything special. So it's not like it's not a color I mix up. It's literally just red oxide right out of the bottle. This stuff here, wicked red oxide. Looks like carving. So 3D, yay, that's what I was going for. Thanks, Brandon. So the 40/50 is an important part because it helps to make this really transparent, but also helps it to spray really nicely. But this is really thin. It's probably the consistency of like ink. It's really, really thin. And that's what we want. So, and I want a brush like the B that's going to be able to really atomize this very, very finely. Timothy John Luke Smith, great feed last night, Tim. I've been, again, as part of my new regiment, I've been getting up super early, well, earlier. So as a result, I'm crashing earlier as well. But I got to catch a bunch of the feed and it looks great, Tim. All right, so I've got the red oxide in here. So now what I can do is I can just really, really lightly kind of just barely go over this. And the orange in the red oxide, that orangey rusty color, will cancel that blue out. Now the trick is, this is so easy to overdo. You have to go slow. You have to go slow and you have to really like put on a light layer and then lean back and take a look at it. Because it's so easy to go from the blue to then have it look orange by putting too much of this on. Kelly, I love it. Did anyone say ink? And Tim, yeah, you never lost your wrench. Kelly, that's one of my favorite. From watching a lot of, British YouTubers, spanner is one of my favorite insults now. I love it. All right. Again, I put on a light layer and then I kind of lean back and take a look at it. I can go a little bit more. Again, there is no coming back from this. The only way to fix it if I go too orange with it is to repaint it, to hit it with the gray sealer again and then just run through it again. Which is, you know, it's not disastrous by any stretch of the imagination. It just takes more time, you know. And if you're doing a repair, you're already behind because it's a repair. But yeah, it's like I said, it's not a disaster. But see how it's like slowly pulling that blue out? Because, you know, color theory is wonderful. If you want to get rid of one color, you add the opposite color on the on the color wheel. So blue, the opposite is orange, and that's what does it. There we go. All right, I'm going to leave that there because I feel pretty good about that. I feel like I could hit it one more time. Oftentimes what I'll do when I get to a situation like this, if I'm like on the fence, if I'm like, should I or shouldn't I? Then the answer is always you shouldn't, because I can always just go one more time. But again, all right. So let's take the last little step here. No, do I want to do that? I will show you the last step here when we get to it up here, because I got to put the darker gray in again to get that to, no, you know what? I'll do the lighter gray. Bobby, what's up, buddy? All right, so basically to get this to look like this, this is kind of the quicker route. I wanted to get this done. So really there are only 3 values here. There's the white color. Yeah, just the white. There's a light gray and then there's a dark gray, and that's it. That's all I got. Now it looks like there's a lot more because the airbrush can put things on in light layers, which gives you extra. So this, you know, that's why it looks like there's more, but there really isn't. There could be. In fact, this would have come out better if I had like 2 more values, like a mid gray in between each one of those. That would give me more options. It would have slowed me down a little bit. You know what I mean? It would have just been, it would have come out, you know, a little bit more complex, which is good. But we don't get time for that. Again, I want this done by Monday, or when I'm done Monday. So I got just regular opaque white and I got opaque black, and I'm just adding a little bit so I get a kind of a pale gray. Ooh, I might have hit it just out of the gate, which is lovely. I spent the morning doing a bunch of the open studios. So my goal is to kind of group all that together so that I have all the content kind of pre-recorded and up. So again, so I can turn around and focus on some stuff. One of the really, really cool things is I have 3 brand new HD stencils coming in for big paintings. One of them is 12 by 16. And those are on the way in, so I want to get those started. And again, I can't do that unless I've got the deck cleared, so to speak. All right, so I've got the light gray in here. Let me put on a glove because I don't want to get greasies all over this. All right, this goes here. All right. So that upper that I just kind of fixed, this is the light, kind of that light gray I just mixed up. Let's see if this is too light though. This might be too light. Let me look up here first. Let's look up here. So that's the white sketch that I did Monday, or I maybe added to it. But anyway, that's pretty much where it was. So with this light gray, we'll test it out up here because I think it's too light, and it is. So again, it's easier to add than try to subtract. So we'll add 2 more drops of this, or 3 drops, why not? Leave it on the edge. Again, you know, the goal is, like I said, I'm watching Facebook like a hawk. If Facebook continues to be real crappy, then I'm going to move Monday night over to YouTube. I've kind of wanted to do that anyway, but we've been on Facebook for so long, I didn't want to screw around. This is perfect. So now I've got this darker, slightly darker gray than the background, and this is what I can use to start like outlining this shape and kind of defining it. This is real loose. Originally it was just a quick light white pass, you know, just to kind of put it in its place, and then I just kept adding the white till I got kind of the shape I want, and that's how that happened. No problem, Kelly. It was great seeing you, buddy. So again, wait, where does this go? Hold on, I got to figure out what's over and what's under here. So it goes under this leaf, so it's going to go over this leaf. Okay. So again, it's been kind of a thing I wanted to do for a while, to move the live stream over to YouTube, just because YouTube is such a better platform for videos than Facebook. But you know, I've been over on Facebook doing the Monday nights forever, so I didn't want to rock the boat. But now that Facebook is, you know, going sideways in every possible way, you know, it might facilitate that, which will be good. In the long run, it'll be good, because the quality is better on YouTube, the organization is better on YouTube, the spamminess is way less on YouTube. Like, you guys will, you know, you'll get ads if you're not a, you know, if you don't have a membership, not membership, but a sub, an account with YouTube. But setting up an account is pretty easy. And then I immediately got premium because I use YouTube a lot, so I didn't want to watch any ads. So Bobby taking off too? No. Oh no, Kelly's saying bye to Bobby. Okay, sorry. However, if things stay the same, and you know, I end up keeping the live stream over on YouTube, on Facebook, then what I'll end up doing for my UK friends, because that's really what this Thursday feed was for. It's why it's so early. I'll do a weekend feed, you know, whenever I can. So in order to do that, though, what's going to be real important is, if you are not subscribed, and if you're watching this after the fact, or even if you're watching it now and are not subscribed, subscribe and turn those notifications on, because the live streams now, at least for the foreseeable future, are going to be kind of whenever, you know, whenever I can. So there won't be a schedule, and you're just going to have to be ready for them. So if you are subscribed to the channel, then you'll get notifications if you click that, you know, notification bell. So hopefully you will. Trash book has gotten so bad. Yeah, you know what was really, like, I've never really had a connection problem, but now it's the weirdest thing, and I mentioned this on Monday. I am getting pushed offline, which is weird. It's usually what happens when you, like, don't update your mobile app, your Facebook mobile app. You know, you'll just get bumped offline. But Facebook has been doing that on my computer, which is bizarre. All my computers, which is weird. So I know it's not me, and I know the connection is good, because I can see that on my end. It's just been bizarre. So if it's going to be glitchy every single week, then that goes squarely against what I want, and that's a good experience for the people watching. So that's going to make the decision for me if that keeps up. Again, I'm not really talking, I'm just kind of doing this, but you get the idea. See, even at saturation, that gray isn't very gray at all. So I can go on the bottom of this thing and add those, what will soon be the drop shadow, you know, that shadow underneath. I can fully put it in and not worry about, you know, getting it too dark. It's already done. This color is also great for really starting to define, like, the shapes, like this little vine seedling thing coming off the side. I can use this color to really, like, zoom in on this. Now it should be mentioned too that the way that this stuff works really, really well is if you add a little bit of 40/50 to the opaque black too. It does make it more transparent, but it'll also let you get super fine, super smooth type of thing going on, which is, you know, which is always nice. All right. So again, I've got some blowouts up on the vine up here. And this color is great for just kind of redefining that and cleaning it up a little bit. Again, I don't have to worry about doing too much on the top of this, because it's not that super dark color that I had before. What I could also do with this is the edges, I can really, like, finish kind of carving them out so that they're, you know, they're nice and round. Right now they're just kind of janky because of the way the white was working, but yeah. Up here in Canada, we have internet censorship. Facebook is right there like a dirty, yeah, see, that's not good, Brad. Yeah, I don't, you know, it sucks because Facebook was really, and well, Instagram too, before they got bought out, because they're just as bad now because they're owned by the same people. And I refuse to do TikTok because just lots of reasons. But originally, and I hate to sound like the old grandpa, but here we go. Originally when it wasn't so heavily, advertised and they shoving stuff down your throat, it was just really cool to be able to see like the people that and the groups that I like followed. But now I get so much garbage. Like I get so much stuff. For every one thing that I follow in my timeline, there'll be 4 things that they think I should be watching, which is usually garbage. And I don't want that, It's like, that's not what I want. That's not the experience I want, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. And unfortunately, that's what it's gotten to, They've taken a really good thing, and again, it's bad, Like YouTube, what's nice about YouTube is, yes, if you don't have, premium, if you don't pay for it, you get ads, but at least, your timeline isn't jacked with all this stuff you didn't even ask for. Like my timeline, my front page on YouTube is all people I subscribe to. And I love that. I get to just kind of go through and see what, I want to see. Now, occasionally on the sidebar there, they put in things that they think I might like, and I'm okay with that too. But to have every, 75% of my feed be that and not what I actually want to follow, it makes me sad. Oh, Adam, what's up, man? Time Warp, what's going on, man? Speaking of awesome channels and people I follow, thank you, buddy. So this color is great because I can just really kind of just float around and literally do whatever I want. I can basically draw with it. Now, you would think that making this color out of the Autoborn Sealer would be a good idea because it's the same gray. However, Autoborn Sealer isn't really made for doing, tighter, thinner work. So it's like spraying with the white. It can be really unruly. It doesn't want to spray. It's okay for doing like the repair like I did, because I'm not asking much of it. I'm just asking it to cover. But yeah, for doing this kind of stuff, I wouldn't want to use the sealers. You could. What I would suggest to do is, say you had to use a sealer. That's the only black you have, or the only gray you have. Make sure you have 4050 with you, and you're going to load up the 4050 in that. What that will do is it'll help it spray a little bit smoother. It'll make it more transparent, which goes against the sealer, but still, it'll allow you to use it more like paint instead of like a sealer that it is. Meta is pivoting to VR and AI. We're totally different in a few years. Yeah, and the thing about it, Tim, too, with the AI stuff, and I'm sure anyone who has a social media, or even if you don't have a business channel where you're showing stuff off, even if you're just a regular person, there are so many AI accounts and AI responses now that your post gets jacked up with all that garbage in there too. This gray is great for doing the initial shading, like on that leaf there. So on this vine, for instance, I can put that core shadow in on the vine. I can start that going with this color. The black shifts to a decidedly warm brown, which I really like. However, you got to be prepared for that if you're using the opaque black. So say you're doing something that's bluish. You want a gray, it's like a steel gray blue. You have to add the blue into it to get it to do that. Again, it's fine if just so long as you know that that's going to go on. But I really like a warm black. So it works out good for me. A little bit of shadowing on this, and we're pretty much set. I got to put some shadowing. Since I got this on the brush, I might as well finish this up. Yeah, Adam's channel is amazing. So finish this up by, just kind of rolling around and putting whatever other little shadows I need to put in to get it started. Because once I switch out to the darker, like that heavier black, or the darker gray, then, I could, what would be smart was load 2 brushes up so that I have both, or even better, have 3 brushes. One with the white, one with the dark gray, one with this light gray, and then I could just bounce back and forth and get this all done. So, but I'm not going to do that because I don't know. But there you go. So that's all the gray, the light gray. And it's nice. It just tightens everything up, gets everything where it should be, and we're ready to go. So I can use this gray to do the darker gray. So what I want to do is this is 1:1, so this is a lot stronger than what I just put in I used the 1:10 to tilt it before, but this will move this to a darker gray right away. So I put that in there, but now, just like I was talking about, I want to add some 40-50 to this. So I've got this already pre-mixed. There's 1 part 40-50 to 5 parts reducer. So I want to add a bunch of this in. And this is going to kind of offset the black, both in the way that it sprays and also its transparency. So even though this is going to be a much darker color, I'll have a lot more control over it, meaning, it'll come out more transparently even though the final destination color or value is much darker. So again, this gives me more leeway when I'm working with this. If I just mix this gray out of white and black, it would come out just like that. It would come out, you'd have some control because it's the airbrush does that, but it would be like, all or nothing really. So that 40-50 really helps to move it around. Lee Jordan, what's up, buddy? Unfortunately, YouTube is going, yeah, it is. I think YouTube has been around long enough and they've got an established monetization system that they don't have to go the route of like Facebook. I think greed had a big part of it, and I also think that going from a non-monetized platform to a monetized platform all at once had a really negative effect on YouTube and Instagram. Where YouTube has been monetized for so long and they've got it down, it is really a win-win for everyone. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping, because I like the way that YouTube kind of organizes everything, and yeah. All right, let's see what we got now. Oh, Brad, hopefully, yeah. I'm okay here, and like I said, I can see. I could see the the ups, basically the data rate of my stuff going up to YouTube, and I can also see how it's getting onto YouTube, and so far we're good. So it might just be a weird glitchy thing, Brad. But again, right about now with Facebook the way it's been, it would be all jacked up. I would have been invisibly being moved to offline, and then all the stuff I'm sending to YouTube or Facebook gets jacked up, and then you guys get glitches and all that fun stuff. So I'm hoping they sort it out. If not, like I said. All right, so there's the darker gray. Now, you can see it. Can you see? Yeah, see, it's not terribly dark, right, in the cup, but if you watch when I start working with this, let me finish this part down here, the repair. So there's the repair again. I got to darken that up just a little bit, but not where it was before. So I'm going to roll over this really lightly, this top edge. And again, I want the bottom edge to be really dark. So the light, I want you to see the top edge, but I don't want it to be as dark as the shadow being cast underneath it, if that makes sense. Webb, what's up, man? Welcome. Chris Garcia, what's going on? Oh, it's Mark. That's awesome. All right. That's it. That's all I want to do there. So it just kind of cleans it up. So since I'm at the point everywhere, I was just going to work on this part, but it's all caught up to the same point now. So we'll start where I left off, which is right down in here. So what I do with this darker color is usually I'll start with the darkest shadow first. That kind of sets that in. And what I want you to be aware of when you see this, now you saw this again. This is the gray color I have in the cup, right? Right there. Watch how dark it is though here, because again, values are all relative. Like if I showed you this color on the surface, you'd be like, no way, that's not the same color. That's like black. But it's not. It's this really dark gray. Once it reaches saturation, it looks a lot darker than it really is. So the moral of this story is mix it lighter than you may think you need it, and you'll be in much better shape. Again, you can always add a little bit of darkness to it, like a little more black if it's not quite where you want it. But again, you saw what you have to do to lighten it, to get rid of it. So it's better to sneak up on it. And that's true with just about everything, you know. You can always increase the intensity of the color. You can't take it away without covering it and repairing it. So look at you guys. You guys, I hope everyone's here today because I mentioned it's the last one. I really appreciate you guys hanging out. And I hope, you'll, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I hope you do subscribe and, watch the other content. And like I said, I will get a live stream back up on YouTube. It's just going to be, a matter of when the best time is. So I appreciate you guys being here. It's really awesome. There we go. Sweet. Again, less is more. Less is way more with this. All right. What I am going to do then, because I got to leave some for Monday, maybe I'll leave this, because we're going to burn through. Now that I've got all this done, we're going to burn through it. So I may leave this little area right here for Monday. We'll just do a bunch of this now. And the final little bit too is the best part. It's the kind of frosting on the cake. I'm going to put, I've decided to make these a little bit more shiny. Originally, I wanted them to kind of look like they were made out of stone, which I still do, but I think I want the filigree parts to be almost like polished. So we're going to do that on Monday as well. I'll show you how I get that done. And yes, Tim still has the wrench. So many good people would be moderators, so Tim is certainly someone who makes a good moderator. Especially having his feed, on Wednesday. He knows what's up. He knows what can happen. Tim can drop the ban hammer in a second in case we get more inappropriate bot accounts, if you know what I mean. So this isn't all right. I'm gonna do I'm gonna keep running around this thing a little bit, but then I'm gonna change this to ultra detail mode. But I don't want to do that first. Oh, thank you, so awesome. Yes, we don't want to increase too much intensity, Chris. You're right. The opaque white and opaque black really spray really well out of the, with just reduction. But it's amazing when you add that 40-50. The only way I can describe it is it just smooths the paint out. It's just, again, you sacrifice its ability to, a little bit of its ability to cover, but you can get it to cover. It's just going to take more passes. But if you're looking for finer detail with it, then it's the only way to fly. You're going to sacrifice the opacity anyway. You shouldn't need opacity if you're going for detail anyway. That shouldn't be a big thing on the list. So, Lee, that's awesome, buddy. Give me a heart attack at this age. Yeah, please don't. Yeah, we don't want any of that. So what's also nice about this gray, like right there, that's the maximum I can get that. That's saturation right there. So it's not as dark as what I had here because I mixed that up earlier. So I still got to go a little bit darker. So we might do that today too. I'll share the whole run. But again, I'd rather have that problem. I'd rather be in a position where, oh, I got to go a little bit darker. The other thing, I kind of dropped the ball with this painting, which I should have done. If I had, before I did this, if it just wasn't a gray, Autoborn sealer, if I had done that stipple like granite effect over the whole thing and then did the filigree, you'd still pick up the granite pattern through the filigree, but you'd also see it all in the background. This would look like it was made out of stone. I should have done that. It's too late now because it would just make a mess if I tried to sneak it in. But we'll do that on the next one. And this painting has been really just super relaxing to just kind of, like I said, there was no plan. You guys saw it on Monday. Just kind of, sketch it in with the white and then just refine as you go. It's just been really nice to be able to work on this. I worked on it yesterday for a little while. I worked on it a little bit this morning, but again, I was doing open studio stuff, so I didn't really work on it a lot, but it's just been fun to just pick at it. I did have some people ask what's going to happen to it. I'm just going to put it on the site after it's done and cleared. So if you're interested in it, it'll just go up on the site. Like I said, I'm hoping to have it done on Monday, so it'll go up after Monday. What could go wrong? Exactly. What could go wrong indeed? So I was talking about it just a second ago, turning this into like the hyper detail color. The way you do that is you just keep adding 40-50 until it sprays ridiculously small. That's it. It's pretty straight ahead. And again, when I say 40-50, it's that 40-50 mix. So I have two of them that I've been using all the time now, depending on what I want to get out of it. So if I want a lot of 40-50, meaning, good amount of 40-50, this is the one. It's 1 part 40-50 to 2 parts reducer. And then if I want more reducer, this is the one. So if I want it thinner, but I want to add 40-50, this is the one. If I want just 40-50, like a lot of more 40-50, then I use 1 to 2. So these are the two I've been using. And I know I switch a lot. I was using 1 to 10 for a while. It just depends. Yeah, Bobby, that's exactly it, 100%. Because we can't control what happens to us, but we can always control our reaction to it. That's what it is. Mr. Webb, what's up, buddy? Yeah, that's super important. You can't even, obviously you can't control how you feel, the feelings that you get, but you can control what your reaction to those feelings is. So, yeah, so keep hammering. That's all I can say. All right. Yay, Chris, I'm glad it got there. Yeah, that painting was so much fun to do. And it's funny, when you suggested it, like I usually don't, well, sometimes I'll say, oh, hey, that's a good idea or whatever. But a lot of times when I'll see something like a suggestion come across, like I already have an idea like of a few of them as I'm watching the suggestions go through, like, oh, that'll be a real good one, whatever. So the beach ball was one of them. I knew I was going to do that as soon as you suggested it. I'm like, yeah, that's going to be a great one, because I knew exactly what I wanted to see in that too. And with summer now, on the back side, I want to get as much summer in as I can. Steve, what do you think about Drew's way of cleaning airbrush, leaving water in the brush? It seems to be working like a charm. Tim, I've been doing that for a while, and I can't take credit for that. I learned that trick from Philippe Soltero, who used to be in Connecticut. Great airbrush artist. He's over in, I think he's still in San Francisco right now. So I saw him do that a while ago, and I'm like, that's a great idea. So I've been doing that for a while. Yeah, it is fantastic. And I did a Tech Tuesday on it too. So what Tim is talking about, at the end of the day, you clean out your brush normally, you do whatever you do to clean it out, but then you put, if you're using Createx or water-based paint, you put some water in it, spray it through a little bit, but leave water in the cup. And what happens is it doesn't allow anything that's left over in the cup to dry, or in the brush to dry, which is amazing, amazing. Because even if you clean this out, if there's just a little, like on the cup here, the tiniest like film of paint, especially in a brush like this that's really fine detail, that just acts like glue and glues everything together. So you have to, you know, flush it all out in the morning and do whatever. But if you add water in it, that stuff never gets a chance to dry. So do I have one that's... No, I don't. I was going to show you, because like I had a cleaned out brush, like when I get up in the morning and come down and start working, even if I thought I cleaned it out and there's water in the cup, you can still see like it's like whatever color I used last. I'm like, I cleaned it out. Oh, I know, Lee, you guys got hammered. I know, and the 3 days you had were like 150 degrees, right? That's lame. Yeah, so what Tim is talking about is definitely worth doing if you're using water-based. Now, I know people, like Nub, for instance. Nub uses solvent-based paints. He leaves the paint in his airbrushes all the time. He has caps on everything, but paint is in his brushes all the time, and that essentially does the same thing. There's paint in here not drying. It's solvent-based, so it keeps everything flowing, and he never has to worry about it. It's really cool. T-shirt airbrushes have been doing that forever, too. They just leave all their brushes hooked up. So yeah, it's a great trick. Awesome, 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 awesome. Oh no, I'm not doing that. Tell me to stop. We need stuff for Monday. Nice. All right, I was working on this. This flower here, this kind of flowery where the vine comes out, all I could think of was Rocky Horror Picture Show. All right, so this darker color can be used for shading on the inside too. Again, it's got that decidedly brownish tinge to it, but I'm totally okay. Does it evaporate? It does, yeah. So if you're leaving your brushes for a while, what I would suggest doing is you put the cap on them. If you have an airbrush like Tim's, like the Extreme Patriot Arrow, you could put a piece of tape over this. I think, didn't someone find a cap plug that fits on this? I think that might be a thing. But in any event, just take a piece of tape, you know, like a piece of tape, and just drop it on there, and that'll, not that big, but you get the idea. That will keep the paint from evaporating out of, or the water from evaporating out of the top. So yeah. If you're not going to use your airbrushes for a while, it may not be a great idea to leave water in them. I don't know. Maybe it is. But yeah, like the Mojo here, Mike's brush, I put water in that last time I used it, but it's all gone because I didn't put the cap on it. So. If daily user, no biggie, I would think to use keep it. Yeah. Again, because I know a lot of people will add glycerin to their water-based paint to help it flow better, so I'm sure that, you know, would also keep the wheels greased, as it were. Oh, wait, what? Tim, the little arrow comes with a cap? Did I get a cap with mine? I don't think I got a cap with mine. I know the 105 has it, right? But I didn't know the little one has it. I mean, not well, this is the 105. The bigger one. Oy. Yeah, the bigger cupped 105. I know this one had a cap on it. In fact, it's right here. Little rubber cap, like that. But I didn't know the smaller one had one too. That's awesome. That means I lost it. That's why we have Tim here, because Tim sets us straight. Tim, you know what I should do, Tim? I should, when I get my head out of my ass, I should send this to you. This is the airbrush that Ken sent me, and I'm super super happy with it. I've never had an airbrush engraved before, so Ken was, I did a painting for Badger, and he sent me this brush as a thank you, and it means a ton to me. But Tim, I would love it if this was hot rodded like your brush. I already took off the weird giant trigger, and I put the little spring in there, but I should just send this to you and have you turn it into a Tim special. So maybe if I get my head out of my butt, I'll do that. You can just, Tim, and you just let me know what the conversion price would be. Because ultimately that's what I would want for that brush. I mean, I like it and everything, but you know, I see what you get out of yours, and I would love that. Yeah, thank you, Tim. Awesome. I will take you up on that. Oh, cool, Tim. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun to have a have it be a an official ink flinger brush. The sending Tim. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Tim offers that service. If you already have a Patriot 105 that is not Timified, but I'm sure, especially you know, people who follow him, I'm sure that would be an option where you know, he would customize, you know, your brush for whatever the labor and parts would be. JC, yes, God, I love this brush. Especially like, okay, so we're using opaque black and white with this, and this brush just handles it wonderfully. You know, the B is fantastic. If people see me using this brush all the time and they run out and buy one without, you know, knowing, this brush can be a bear, because it's designed for, like if you were working with Tim's inks, that's what this is built for. It's built for really, really thin material. It sprays like a beast, but it's temperamental. You know, you put opaque white in this brush runs circles around the B, detail-wise, with the thicker paint. So yeah. Oh, Mark, that's awesome. Thank you. Patrick. Still love my ring, Pat. So awesome. All right, I'm getting to the point now where I think I can do the darker color. I may even give you a little sneak preview of what I'm going to do Monday. Yeah, I think I'm there. Yeah, you know what? I'll leave this area for Monday because, you know, I want people to be able to see the whole run. So there's one more thing I have to do to get this to match the rest of this. See how dark it is down here, and it's still light. So I got to add a little bit of black to that. So what I am going to do now is I am going to use the Micron B, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use straight black for this. Astral, what's up, buddy? Low on parts, waiting for delivery from Badger. Yeah, Tim. I'll whenever you're back up and have all the parts and everything, just shoot me a message and I'll figure it out. But no, Tim, no rush for me. You get your brushes out first. All right, so I've got super reduced black in this now. But this may not even work the way I want it to. I may have to add 40-50 to this too, because what I want to do is just along the inside edge, I just want to add a little bit of black to this, just darken it up a little bit. And what I'm doing is I'll spray a little bit. Since I didn't do all this at the same time, I'll just spray a little bit and then lean back and double check down here. So it's still a little bit too light, which is great. Again, I'd rather sneak up on it. Oh, cool. That's awesome, Pat. I do that all the time. I'll watch on the TV, but then I'll have my tablet so I can add to the chat. But I love watching YouTube on the big screen. In fact, my I have a monitor here that shows me what the cameras see, but it's a smart TV, so what I'll do is I'll also watch YouTube while I'm working. All right, so that's looking better. That's pretty much, you know, getting close to what, you know, is going on down in the bottom part of it. So now we'll just do this in a couple extra areas, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with the highlights on Monday. Give you guys a sneak preview. Oh, and I've the other thing I did too, which I mentioned on Monday. If you've been following on Monday night, you know that I do those little black and white paintings. I've decided again to open up a little bit more time because doing 543s takes me a day and a half to get them all done. So in order to kind of reclaim some of that time again for bigger paintings, I'm jumping down to doing 3 543s, and automatically this week that has been wonderful. They're done. They're all done. They're ready to go. I've got the time-lapse videos done. Switching to 3 made a huge difference, so I'm very, very happy. And, you know, it's still going to give you guys good, you know, a good group of paintings to choose from and all the suggestion stuff. So, yeah. All right, so there we go. Wait, Pat, what's going on with you? You all right? Speaking of, you know, getting on the mend, I can't wait for Bill to come through all the stuff he's kind of dealing with, because I miss his live feeds too. Bill Snagan. Or William Snagan, as it is on Facebook right now, because his account got changed. Like a bag of potatoes wearing shorts, but better than yesterday. Oh, God. Yeah, I hope you're all right there, Pat. All right. So there we go. So that's good. Yeah, I'm going to leave this upper corner for Monday so we can do the same, basically what we just did, so we can show all the Monday nighters. But what I'm going to do in addition to that is add some really bright white highlights. Now I don't want to, it'd be nice to be able to do this with a paintbrush, but from the beginning I mentioned that I'm going to do this all with just the airbrush, which is why there's no palette cam on today. And again, there's no reason for that at all, you know. I shouldn't say I did this all with airbrush, because I did use some eraser in the beginning to make some corrections, but you get the idea. As far as the actual painting part of it, there's no, you know, there's no drawing first. There was no photocopies, no, nothing like that. So that was the whole point. So we'll just do this with the airbrush too then. So what I want to do is I've got some nice highlights on this. But again, I've got a lot of overspray on this too, which is great. This is good for this step. So what I want to do is I want to grab some white. And this is white that's reduced, but it's not crazy. Well, it is crazy reduced, but not crazy reduced for me. This is 2 parts paint to 1 part reducer. So this, oh, I didn't do this bottom section down here either. Oh, well, whatever. We'll have plenty. Later, Mark. Have a good one, man. That's awesome, Mr. Webb. All right. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to start picking out like some really bright highlights to make this look a little bit more shiny. So I'm just going to start by where the light's going to hit, and then I'm going to drag it out a little bit. And I'm going to do this in, you know, not everywhere, because I don't want it to like overwhelm it. But what I do want it to do is give that sense of, you know, like this is a lot more polished, you know, it's a lot shinier. Like this, without having spider webbing going on. So I think it's just going to add a little bit of extra like dynamic to the whole thing. And again, because I don't have that granite pattern, it's gonna, just kind of roll a little bit better as like super shiny. Now, if this is going to get cranky and spiderweb on me, which it's being okay now, but if it is, I would do the same thing. I would just add a little bit of that 40-50 mix to it. It'll help it spray better, but it'll also be more transparent. So I'll get a better result with the spray, but I'll have to go over it more times to get it to brighten up the way it should. I don't care about, I don't care really about blue shift with these little highlights because it just kind of looks good with it anyway. So, but it just adds that little pop, that little punch, which will be great. And with anything like this, I talk about, frosting all the time. This is seriously frosting. If you add too much of this, it's gonna be obnoxious. So you really gotta kind of. It's so much fun to do. I'd find like, oh, put it here, and I'll put it here, and I'll put it here. But as soon as you get into that, then it looks like trash. It's like anything. If you have too much of it, it just takes away from it instead of adding. Do you see a marked difference in city planning from Tokyo to American cities? Tim, I am shocked at how much it reminds me of Boston. And I mentioned this in one of the videos, one of the open studios, that obviously Tokyo is an ancient city. And you can see when they keep the kind of ancient layout and then add a modern city on top of that, it's not like Chicago or like Manhattan. Even though Manhattan's an older city, but still, the planning on Manhattan made a lot more sense than it does in Boston. Boston was cow paths, that eventually became, the streets. Tokyo seems very similar to that. Like there's no real grid in the area that I'm working in, which is interesting. It's just cool to see that. So it's something that I'm used to, having grown up in the mess that's downtown Boston. But yeah, that's the only thing. As far as the buildings go from that distance, no, I can't really see much of a difference. And the only thing I noticed that, there's a lot of really small buildings mixed in with the big ones, and I know what that is too. That's, of course, you have a really ancient building that they're not going to tear down to put up the high rises. So you just have these little tiny buildings kind of mixed in. Exactly, Pat knows. Bowl of spaghetti, it's exactly what it's like. One of my favorite memes is the map of Manhattan, where it's all, laid out nicely in grid. And it says like, welcome to New York. And then next to it, there's the map of Boston, which like Pat says, looks like a bowl of spaghetti. And it just says, it says a bad word about, being in Boston. Screw you, basically. So anyway, so there you go. So that's what it's ultimately going to look like with all the little highlights. But see, that just adds that little thing, that little zing. And I love it. That makes me happy. So that's what I got. All right. I'm going to let you guys go because I have to, now that I've recorded all that content, I need to turn around and edit all of it. And editing 4 videos is going to take me the rest of the week, which is great, but because that sets me up for the next month on that stuff. But let me back you out so you can see the kind of full effect. Yeah, Bobby, I don't understand why the commercial's on the phone and not on the tablet. That's weird. But that's what we got so far. I'm really happy with this. It's just fun. People always, whenever the topic of tattoos come up, I don't have any tattoos because I always said I could never decide on what I would want. This is what I would want. I would want some sort of filigree, shaded type of thing, like I think that's the only thing that keeps coming back to me is that. So if you ever wondered what I would want for a tattoo, it would be something like this, but it would be more like the engraving type of style than this, which is more three-dimensional. But yeah. So that's what I got. There we go. All right. So thank you all. This was, I know it's kind of sad. This is our last Thursday for a little while. But again, what I see happen is I'm going to get restless and I'm going to, have a Sunday, a Sunday afternoon feed. That's more likely. And I'll tell you, even though there won't be a regular thing, I will do feeds on YouTube while I'm trying to figure out, where everything is going to be. But in the meantime, you can watch Tim on YouTube on Wednesday nights. You can watch Scott on Thursday nights. Scott McKay will be doing his thing tonight. Adam over at Time Warp, he's awesome. You can catch him all the time. And if you want the live feed experience, you can come over to Monday on Facebook and all that fun stuff. But if you are here and you're not subscribed, I would love it if you did that. And that would make me a happy camper. So that's what I got. So thank you all for hanging out with me on the kind of last Thursday live feed. It is going to pay off. I'm going to have some crazy stuff to close out the year, and I will share that with you as I get those big paintings started. One in particular I'm really excited about, so I will let you know when I get that going. There you go. Thank you all. Thanks for hanging out, and hope you have a great weekend. And I will catch you all on Monday. Thank you.